Welcome to November 18th's Fireside Chat from here in the nation's capital. I want to thank you, those of you who have subscribed, for the warm response to yesterday's installment. And I'm going to ask you to do yourselves and me a favor. I want you to subscribe, ring that bell so that you will keep up to date with all of the installments, and share. And as well, if you would be so kind, post remarks, criticisms, insights into the great discussion that we are having about limited constitutional government and personal liberty, because these are the things that are at risk today, and all of the things that support them, namely the grand narrative and our Christian heritage. These are the things that are being sacrificed on the altar of ridiculous postmodern ideology. I wrote the following this morning. And before I read it, I'm going to state clearly that I'm still hopeful, but from all evidence, this is what things look like if hope were to be removed from the equation, which of course, in your paradigm, quite likely, and in mine, that's not going to happen. Hope makes us not ashamed. A fond farewell to liberty and thoughts on what made the Anglosphere unique. We manifest the ideas that guide us. Janteloven, otherwise known as tall poppy syndrome or crab in a bucket syndrome, is a petri dish in which social collectivism grows. For this reason, in Norway, group identity has always played a more significant role than individual identity and their cultural mojo. The logical extension of socialism is international socialism, and the ultimate result of international socialism is indeed one world government, which is exactly what Trudeau was talking about when he spoke about the Great Reset. The idea which existed largely in the Anglosphere and the importance of individual sovereignty, owning property, and the guaranteed right not to have your property taken by force of the state forms the basis of English common law and constitutionalism, both in the US and in the British Commonwealth. These are the ideas that made us the freest, most democratic, and most individualistic nations on earth. It's also the reason why we abhorred social collectivism of all kinds and were the first to turn up in defense of liberty in Europe, in North Africa, and in Asia Pacific. But since we are manifestations of our ideas, and the idea of liberty is dead, we will manifest the ideology which possesses us into action, namely social collectivism and all of the hideous tyranny that it brings with it. This brainworm, and that's what it is, it's a pathological brainworm, has now taken over the entire Anglosphere. I still see little reason to believe that we can stem the tide of a complete and utter rejection of our human need to strive and thrive. The desire to be free from excessive statism. Frankly, I've seen enough. In Norwegian, jeg har fått nok. The Great Reset? Not for me. And I'll happily depart this life to stop it, and I'll die giggling. This is a war. And of course, a war is made up of many battles. So this is my battleground today. And unless some of you attack me, I'm not going to be happy, because what would a warrior be without an enemy? Prove yourself noble enough to come at me and to debate these great truths with me. I dare you. In fact, I need you to do it. And I need you to post your thoughts on this video so that your deconstructionism can be exposed for what it is. Utter drivel. There isn't a logical connection in any of the things that you assert as being true. Like, dudes can become chicks. Like, group identity, who I am as my intersectional self of being a white Anglo-Saxoned Protestant, is a more important definer of me than being me, Mojo Willie. No, that's not what makes me interesting. In fact, I know a lot of other white Anglo-Saxon Protestants that ain't nothing like me at all, and with whom I have nothing in common. And I know a lot of other people that aren't white Anglo-Saxon and Protestant with whom I have a great deal in common with. We must stop this idiotic belief that the state interfering in every cloying aspect of human existence is the solution to a problem that we already were addressing. We could have made great progress had we not become progressive. Because what we have been offered in the name of social collectivism, what Trudeau is offering, and I'm going to post below, and I really hope you're going to sign it, a petition that Pierre Poilievre, my MP here in Ottawa, the only conservative to get elected to Parliament, and I appreciate him because he stands stalwartly defending individual liberty and exposing the corruption of this current government. Nevertheless, he created a petition. I want you all to sign it. I was chatting with a fellow on Facebook yesterday. He's a pedagogue, of course. He was living proof that we have put lunatics in charge of the insane asylum. That guys like him are the people who are indoctrinating our children into this postmodern idiocy. Each time I could disprove his argument with facts, he pulled a Monty Python argument where I said, that's not a fact, and then presented no evidence other than to say, yes, it is, and no, it isn't. Yes, it isn't. No, it isn't. No, it wasn't, and this isn't what it was, are merely personal opinions. If you don't bring facts to bear, if you can't demonstrate proof, you do not have an argument. But of course, that is the first premise of postmodernism, that logic itself is a tool of the patriarchal tyranny. Well, that's a tool I intend to employ. And as I said, without you getting into a real good discussion with me, which I invite you to do, because I love it when people attack me personally. Please call me anything. Call me a one-legged hermaphrodite, transvestical, lesbian, one-legged, perverted, whatever. Doesn't matter. As long as you're insulting me, I'm going to be happy today. Bring it on. I dare you. And I won't need to use anything to counter your arguments but reason and proof. I can verify everything I'm stating. Too bad you can't. Please subscribe, ring that bell, and share the living be-japers out of this video. This is a call to arms. I will happily wage this war alone. I don't mind. But if you care about who wins this war, you better get engaged in it yourself. The Lord don't like nobody that sits on a fence. You better make up your mind. If you're lukewarm, he'll spew you out of his mouth. You got to make a decision. This is war. Have a great Wednesday.